Hello and welcome to ECS European region. We are going to have one European match for you today, which will be NIP Ninjas in Pyjamas versus VP VirtusPro. So, Dan, we have a big match, I would say. Obviously, NIP off to a good run at the moment. We're under threat. And VirtusPro, who have been inconsistent, as I suppose you could say they are, generally speaking, because it's been a long enough time now. So, yeah.
I think VirtusPro also typically, they notably struggle on online. I mean, on lands they can have performances. They've got some big game players, and they've got a legendary lineup. Let's not kid ourselves. But results-wise, when it comes to online matches, that's when they really tend to struggle. The thing is with NIP though is that when Threat just joined them and starting to have that big impact as a coach, it's the online matches where they first started to really see improvement. And it's probably because the entire team is so incredibly motivated under this new system. And I think that they're still topping the tables over at the ESL Pro League. So, I mean, they might be the strongest online team right now. That's a possibility. The
maps for today are going to be Cash, Mirage with Train as a decider. You can see the vetoes on your map there. So, I mean, is it difficult to have a bad veto for NIP at the moment? Versus Pro.
Well, I think VirtusPro is one of the teams that has one of the deepest map pools. It's hard to really choose a map versus them and be like, okay, we're confident that this is like a weaker map for them. They're up there with the likes of Astralis and Na'Vi and Fnatic and so on. Pretty good map pool overall out of the top teams. NIP on the other hand, Cash and Mirage are two of their very best. Cash, in fact, is their very best under threat, and we've seen the best results from them there. So I think these are probably maybe two of the worst maps that VirtusPro could run into NIP against. The thing is, though, how do you pick against NIP? Because Train and Cobblestone are also very good maps for VirtusPro. NIP are very good there as well. So I think, generally speaking, right now, I think NIP actually have the edge on the veto, and I think that they've come out on top here with the Cash start as well. So I think everything's lining up right now for NIP to have a good start to this ECS season.
Well, we'll see if VirtusPro can line up the T's on this pistol round. NIP starting on the T side, moving towards the A bomb site. Do wonder if they have a read on the VirtusPro side playing retake A, because it seems they are looking to punish that. Again, we are more commonly seeing people just move through Squeaky, because when you're holding from this position here, you can't hear Squeaky door open. I think there was somebody on short, or no, it's not, it's a question mark, it's a decoy. So VirtusPro should have no idea what's going on yet. And it's indeed we're going to have that exposed plant.
And one thing to note as well is that VirtusPro don't have a retake smoke. Typically, as a counter to this play, when you play a retake, you have one guy at least who can throw the smoke from car, which lands on the bomb, which forces the T's out of positions like door, out of positions like main to try to cover the bomb or kill the guys defusing. But right now, it's actually going to be Friberg catching both players from behind. So already, VirtusPro look like they're having a really awful time right now. And Get Right, the raid boss, is just popping heads now with the Tech 9. Not much to do, and that was perfectly played from NIP. Just they picked up the kills, but VirtusPro, I feel like they're missing the smoke there with the A retake anyway.
Can I just say,
yes,
for all those who are unanointed, Dan, that is a James Bardolph pistol round. I know you want to say it isn't, but it is, Dan. You know it is. That's my pistol round, baby. NIP off to a great start. Not a single frag for the VirtusPro side, so this is going to be a pretty hardcore eco. They've gone for the HEs, quad HEs in fact. I'm curious as to where they will go. If they choose to throw them over towards the boost, the HEs can be extremely inconsistent. More times than not, it does next to no damage there. So let's see. I think they may be looking to concentrate the HE efforts, high explosive, that's what it stands for, on the bomb site perhaps. And you can see now VirtusPro gambling towards an A. Although, I do wonder if they're going to move into A main. Doesn't appear so. So they've almost got a double peak between Pasha and Snax there, and a boost on the site as well. But NIP just biding their time, playing their anti-ecos.
Yeah, and this is something where everyone needs to really pay attention and take note, because NIP, definitely the best team in the world right now at playing disciplined anti-force buys and anti-ecos. They have the best consistency on LAN. Their record is very good at the moment. And you can see already the way that the pistol round started out. They had a guy defensive towards B-Story, defensive towards Squeaky Door, and the other players kind of defensive towards T warehouse, just killing time in the early phases of the round to prevent themselves from dying to aggression. Now they're trying to work their way into the A site and get the nades in there. But we've got some good preemptive plays coming from VirtusPro. The nades and so on and so forth are being used very effectively, and they've managed to pick up a couple kills here. And NIP are struggling to have that clean anti-eco that you expect out of them. Ooh, a couple good shots there from NEO as well. He's going to actually catch the person planting the bomb. NEO able to take down Friberg. Doesn't know where the last player is, and he will get eliminated. But the job was done there by VirtusPro, getting 4 kills against NIP on cash when NIP are playing T anti-force buy. That's actually an achievement that most teams right now are struggling to equal. Yeah,
that was a pretty good one. And it makes me curious, actually, going full like maximum nerd. Obviously, NIP won the first round without any of their plays being lost. I do wonder how many of them could upgrade to the helmet for $350. Because obviously, not dying is great, but if you have to spend $1,000 on the armor, then yeah, it's going to be more expensive than it could otherwise be. So VirtusPro looking for a fast aggression towards A, but again, NIP prepared for it. Not going to get too far forward in main too early on. That was again, a disciplined NIP team.
And if you saw it when Xizt threw that HE, he was actually throwing it for a pop flash timing as well. So if they would have pop flashed there, which you saw they wanted to do, they got hit by the nade pretty well also.
Yeah, so good play by Xizt. He has been really good for NIP recently in terms of fragging. I mean, I did see an automatic improvement from Xizt when he stopped in-game leading, but it just continues to get better. So that is really strong for NIP going forward. He has proved himself to be quite a strong fragger for the team.
One of the other cool things to note, I think, is if you're talking about how the impact goes with the players, actually having pyth there is interesting, because if you imagine previously they had Alu, kind of more of a dedicated AWPer. Imagine if they would put a dedicated AWPer in his position. Now, one thing, Threat actually said, he believes that pyth, he said this at Malmo, he believes he could become the best player on the team because he's so young and he's got so much potential, yet he's already so good. And he just lacks the experience that the rest of the team has. But the thing is, pyth, he's very good at rifles, very good at pistols, very good AWPer as well. He's kind of the full package in that department. So he's very, and also he doesn't have an ego. So he's a guy that can basically do anything that Threat wants him to do with a very high degree of individual skill. And that's kind of actually a perfect fit for a team like this, which is very tactical. Because if you have, let's say, more of a star kind of AWPer, like a simple or something like that, then you need to kind of think more about enabling that player and his skill. Whereas they don't have to think about that. pyth with that. pyth's just really good anyway, and he can just support the team or do whatever Threat wants him to do. So it's actually funny. I never would have imagined this when pyth first joined the team, but he's actually a really good fit for how this team is developing.
So VirtusPro going to be on their bye. Snax is going to be the AWPer on this occasion. So not just the in-game leading, which rotates around the VirtusPro side, but even the AWPing guys from pasha to NEO to Snax. So a constantly evolving team. We'll see if it puts him in the right direction. Snax not going to get pop flashed actually, but he is smoked off the position. This does make life a little bit difficult to defend over towards the B bomb site. It's always good to get a smoke in here as well, because then the CTs have a choice to make. Do you try and keep hold of the vent area, or do you give it up and move to the site where you have no warning if the Ts are going to be encroaching on your site? And there is a pick over towards B. NEO being left alone for the time being, as VirtusPro have a read that NIP will slow things down. However, Friberg is pretty close to the entrance there. Just looking for any potential pushes. Got to be wary of a pop flash though.
Did Forrest?
Yes, he did.
Shoot Friberg.
Forrest just shot Friberg.
Okay, that's not good. That is not good indeed. So obviously NIP, they don't want to really risk any more kind of attempts at pick-based play. They need to get onto the bomb site or get a really big portion of map control. And so it's either a side push or mid into a side push. Those are the two most obvious options right now. And a bit of a peek there from pasha as well. So he's going to be spotting Forrest up in middle. But Forrest is actually going to be the guy trying to just harass and make it look like mid is taken over by the Ts and try to kill any rotating players as well. But Snax on the bomb site though, with the AWP instead of NEO, as we're used to seeing now. And NEO just with the spray down, 2 players found. Snax misses the flick, that might be fatal, but he will have pasha coming in at a good timing. f0rest though, last man standing, not much he can get done in this situation. And VirtusPro actually with a good hold, and it was all because of that first pick on Get Right towards B. And I think the most valuable player at opening up the T side and cash might actually be Get Right for the NIP side, because he's so damn good at it.
It was a nice pick by NEO as well, double pick in fact. He was playing a position which is going to kind of pre-aim less often, which can be common over towards the B-bomb site. I know Shox has some as well, as he mentioned in some of his videos on that French YouTube channel. Quite handy to watch. So it seems that NIP are going to be going for an execute towards the A bomb site. Most of the nades will be thrown from the outside. However, they did have 2 people in. That's a nice Molotov by pasha as well. Let's see, the T's are the ones going down at the moment. Counter flash is coming in as well, so they're still on the wrong end of the choke point, what's left of them. f0rest having a nice little pop flash there. You see TaZ being passive on upper. Very nice patient play there by f0rest, but anything can be done. In fact, TaZ is the only one left for his team now. Traded, so VirtusPro will be in a bit of trouble here. NIP already 4-1 up, and the money's quite mixed on the VirtusPro side, but not great. Only byali's is okay. So NIP look good for a good T-half here, it seems.
Yep, and we actually get the full force there from VirtusPro, as their money was so low indeed. Be going in with the saved M4, and it's going to be interesting to see what damage they can do, because again, you know, NIP, they're going to be thinking about, okay, we're going to be running that anti-force spy round, and you're going to see it look the same as before, where they've got one guy squeaky, they've got Xizt, who is towards the A main area, as we've seen him every time before as well, and Get Right, as usual, by B storage, and the rest of his teammates are going to be initially by T warehouse, covering early aggression, but as we approach that 1 minute mark, we're going to start to see NIP move forwards for some map control. And last time they went back towards the A, and they only survived 1 player. So I do wonder if they'll have a variation to that A finish, or whether we'll just see it again.
Importantly, the CT still have 2 smoke grenades in the hole, and there is one of them, pasha smoking it off from the vents, so that will ruin the timing of the T. So it's starting to move in anyway. Actually getting a bit of tagging done to pyth, but if you repeat too many times, it should be punished. Get Right's in a position to punish as well as he comes out, and indeed he will. And NEO and Snax can try and peek at the same time. Snax coming in first, the double peek is in, and Get Right goes down. The M4 is still in play, but the T's are moving towards the B bomb site, and Mag 7 coming out, and Xizt gets taken down. NEO will get traded, but there's a man advantage for the T's. And it seems pyth, after taking down byali towards A, may get a call a rotation there, with Friberg watching B. Spotted TaZ now, so the bomb will be rotated towards A, and will go down. So Friberg might be another casualty here for NIP, only has 22 HP. And that Deagle can do 45 to 55 in 1 shot, 1 meat shot. But it seems, let's see. I think TaZ might be expecting a lurker somewhere. Friberg has the angle, but the timing is crazy. Who's going to look where first? That's the question. Friberg makes it straight in the face. TaZ goes down. NIP get another round on the board. And now VirtusPro will be on the eco.
Yeah, you can see Get Right missing some shots there towards B storage. And maybe that made it a little bit more difficult than it had to be. But VirtusPro, they look a little bit less cold on some of the shots, but you can see that NIP, again, with very good coordination, able to always make sure that they can get that trade frag, they can convert onto the map control or the bomb side take that they need to try to finish off the round. And we'll get that mid take coming in fast. So NIP going with a fast pace now, switching things up, and it's the full eco of VirtusPro. And again, NIP seeing that force buy in the previous round, they'll know that this is a full eco, so this is going to be a strategy to deal with that as they feel much more confident in taking mid. I mean, it's going to be much harder to do anything with pistols wide in the open. Those AK-47s will reign supreme. And you can see Xizt will spot a couple players, so that could be very indicative of a stack seeing 2 players there. Now we'll have to see how NIP interpret it, but it doesn't really matter at this point. They've killed 3 players. They can do anything they want.
Yeah, they've done enough damage now to just slowly clean up the rest, and they've got a minute to do it with. Xizt starting to move back now, so it seems maybe the team will just go together, 5 versus 2. Don't need to be too worried about the trade game here, should it be necessary. But even that looks unlikely at this point. So TaZ and NEO playing separate sites. So the advantages could not be greater for the NIP team. TaZ spotted Spraylight coming in, so pretty much a formality here. And this is looking really good for the NIP economy, the amount of rounds they have run away with at the very beginning of the first map of this best of 3. Again, that is Cash Mirage Train for this best of 3 if you are just joining us. So NEO, we've seen some quite patient P250 play from, I think, NEO and Friberg, I want to say, already so far, which is always good to see.
This is the thing, though, about NIP when they are able to pick caching and start on, or get to pick the side, they're going to start T because they can get like this really sick momentum because as soon as they, like if they're able to win their buy round strategies and if they win the pistol round and so on, they are so good at cleaning up the anti-ecos and the anti-force fire rounds. They're so good at dealing with that they get so, I mean, so many matches you see this with NIP. They get 6 to 8 rounds before the CT side really answers back. And VirtusPro having the same affliction currently. And NIP, are they going to go for a faster pace again here? I wonder if we'll see a G2S type set piece onto the B-bomb site where you get the Molotovs in there and a couple players entering really quickly into the B-bomb site. And this could work out really well right now because there's only one player there. The rotation's not incredibly quick, although there are 2 players in mid. They did try to boost somebody. So VirtusPro could rotate quickly, actually.
Snax he sees there is a rat, he smells a rat. NEO in the same position again, but this time he's going to get taken down straight away by pyth, but the trades are coming in. pasha taking him down as well. There goes Friberg. Forest almost going down, but pasha has lost the bomb site now. Snax trying to come in from the back, but the bomb's being planted. Man advantage for the CTs at the moment, so that smoke's not going to help stop the CTs from trading, but won't be required anyway. This goes down as well. So they've taken 2 plays with them and planted the bomb. NIP will have no troubles going for a full buy in the following round. VP managed to save the AWP, survive with 3 players, could be worse.
Yeah, that was a really nice defense there from VP. It's always very intimidating when you see those set pieces come in, especially on the B-bomb side. On the B-bomb side, it can be really impossible to stop, and we saw NEO got eliminated immediately as well. So it's actually kind of amazing that VirtusPro only ended up losing 1 player after NEO there. That was a really great round from them. And problem is though, is that they can't really afford to lose this one. They did lose 2 players there. Their money is against the ropes. NIP, again, they're going to be in a spot where they realize this, so they should be throwing their best strategy, or the strategy that they think is going to be most consistent at a round like this. Because if they win this round, VirtusPro back to a force buy, back to an eco, it's just hard times. It's really hard times.
Yeah, we might have both teams, either team on the eco, depending on who loses this one. I just saw the run boost on the minimap. It looks quite funny actually, seeing it from there. And you can see Byali is indeed up in the run boosted position. So there's a lot of harassment you can do over towards the B-bomb site on your own with the pop flash you saw Get Right do earlier, but all his nades are gone now. So he's taking a passive angle for the time being in case VirtusPro push, as VirtusPro like to, as they did with good timing in the previous rounds. And it seems Get Right will perhaps just be holding a rotation for the time being. So if NIP commit to this A push, then we may see Get Right going towards T warehouse, maybe through mid afterwards. And the nade streaming in, and TaZ's going to go back and smoke off T main, which is a very good idea because it'll make it a lot easier for Byali to, oh, they seem to have a read on what's going on actually, but TaZ has come in from the back to take them down. They were looking for Byali. I think they knew what the setup was here for VirtusPro, but TaZ's position was maybe completely unexpected. He's got himself 3 kills so far, and Forest is left alone, realizing that his team has been hard countered by VirtusPro.
Yeah, VirtusPro read this one really well, and I mean, Byali didn't end up having to do very much, but that's even more scary because they couldn't even get through, the first obstacles, and then Byali himself would have been a really scary one to deal with too. So great comeback into the round. That's exactly what VirtusPro needed too. I mean, they built up so much money, and as you mentioned, they put NIP in a pretty precarious position money-wise. Actually, NIP can save once more, and they'll actually be fine on a buy. So at least for NIP's sake, they're not going to double eco or anything. So it's all going to be about getting the bomb down in a round like this because, to be honest, if they're able to get that plant in, that's the difference between having Molotovs and having a Molotov set piece in the next round or not.
Well, the eco push is on the way now. The bomb has just about made it onto the site, and that's an important frag onto TaZ. Whoa, what is going on here? 3 versus 2 now. The CT is very out of position, but I think most of those rifles, if not all of them, should be unreachable for the remaining Ts. The remaining T being Forest. Can he reach the M4? It is teasing him, but E finally decides to work. 3 bullets. Not going to be enough, and now he's been spotted. The HE will go too far, I think. But the shot will go straight in the face. 1 versus 1 now, but he's only got 8 HP. This would be brutal for VirtusPro. Neo will save the round for his team. I was going to say in the previous round, actually, I mean, it was so clean from NIP. They even had a flash that popped in the smoke that the CTs put down. But still, TaZ was able to just wreck them as they came out looking for byali. So another expensive round for the CTs, but they get it, and they're closing the gap very, very quickly indeed. NIP was a full buy as well.
It was cool there at the end. Forrest actually tried to fake the def cam a little bit. I think he tried to fake the opponent's out, because after he got that kill, he was kind of faking that he's like moving towards forklift. And then you can see that he was very quick to try to flank the guy that he thought would be going forklift. So it's unfortunate for him that that play didn't work out, but it's a nice idea. Either way, it's going to be a lot of nades here for VirtusPro. Got a lot of incendiaries as well. pasha out in the open, trying to defend middle, will get traded upon by Friberg, as now VirtusPro start to feel the aggression in that middle area. And TaZ is there keeping tabs on the situation with Neo, and they will have some challenges in here. But again, 1 for 1 for 1. The CTs need something more than that, and almost getting it was TaZ onto Forest, who's still harassing by the boost position. Look at these aim battles, TaZ and Forest, just unrelenting there until finally TaZ goes down, and that might be a bit of an issue right now, because the bomb will be planted on A. If VirtusPro want this round, they're going to have to retake, and it's very possible they have a kit on byali, some nades. And if they lose a round, they can buy as well. So this is definitely on. Oh, and Get Right spotted. And there, finally, the taps will be good for byali. 2 versus 2 now. As VirtusPro try to coordinate onto the bomb side. Do have Forest there in A main as well. Oh, the timing. Very nice flash coming out from NIP, but not quite doing the job that it needed to do. Forest has to hit the shots now. There's the first headshot. Snax is going to be trying to go for the challenge now. Great grenade. That's going to be that, but is there time? Looks like he's just good on this defuse, and that's another round for VirtusPro. VirtusPro fighting back really effectively against NIP right now.
Instant double ops coming out for the CT side. Neo dropping it for pasha, actually, so the rotation continues. Definitely a bit of a merry-go-round with these ops. Let's see. pasha has an awful spawn, actually, depending on where he's going. If you were going to B, for example, of that spawn, then you could not hold an angle versus the Ts, because they would get there far quicker than you would. Tiny bit of wall banging going on, which is a pain when you're trying to hold certain angles. It means you have to adjust them somewhat, so that is quite a considerable nuisance for the CT side when the Ts going for the wall bang have their angles right. So you can see VirtusPro looking aggressively towards A main, and they've left pasha to focus on himself. The angle he was holding towards the vent, if one of these NIP players runs into the corner with the box and the roof, then their head would go straight into his crosshair, which is what he's looking for. Get right. Oh, what a snap there. Doesn't even need to pre-aim, gonna shoot him in the face regardless.
That's a hard shot.
It is, that's a very hard shot.
It's deceptively difficult, that one, I think.
Yeah. If you miss it, you're dead, basically. Well, it seems the Ts, despite that kill, they are going to have control of mid with, I think it's Xizt over towards white box. So the split is on through squeaky main and short. That is a big flank coming in from T spawn.
And here it is. byali's been in this position before, but this time unchecked. First frag, finally they'll spot him, but byali with a strong reaction, able to pick up the second frag, and that is that for NIP in this round. Unless pyth is going to be able to pick up all the frags, and they are weak, but he can't get it done there. It's going to be TaZ with a frag and the 6-6 scoreline. So VirtusPro, they are doing such a good job right now. This is really nice. I mean, let's not forget how many rounds NIP went up.
That was
at the start.
That was a massive hold by byali. Considering he's using a silenced M4 as well, he's only got 20 bullets. He killed a player from squeaky, a player from main, and a player from short afterwards. He killed the entire push on his own. That's nuts. That is bananas.
Yeah, these hero plays are really coming in handy.
Yeah, that smoke is, again, we've explained why that's a huge pain. And that's a very nice way to do it safely as well, because, I mean, even I haven't bothered to learn that smoke. I just face and drop it after a pop flash, of course. Speaking of pop flashes, there's a nice one, and now this is a real problem for the CTs, and you can see they put 3 people over towards the B bomb site because they didn't have the information. Now pasha's retaking checkers, they can rotate somebody out, and indeed, it looks like NEO will start to rotate out immediately. So that's a nice little war of real estate by both teams.
Ooh, Friberg able to get the kill into checkers though. And VirtusPro will reoccupy that with NEO immediately, but NIP is starting to get a bit antsy now. There's a minute left, and they haven't really gained any ground. In fact, they've lost B storage. There is a push from NEO there, so NEO now has confirmed that it's going to be an A push. Really great information seeking there from NEO. That should give a very decisive advantage in this round for VirtusPro. And NEO could just flank all the way. Okay, he's going to go towards middle. Spot that is completely clear, and that leaves just A main and Squeaky. So NIP, their presence is known. They are expected. NIP have to get the shots right now. That's the only way out of this situation, is just to hit those headshots. They do not have any other advantages. And here you go. Pits in there straight away to forklift. He goes down. Friberg has to get the refrags, and he will. There are 2 quick ones from him. Still 2 players left to find for the ace, and he's now playing against the clock as well, and this is just not going to happen. Surely 2 players up close to finish him off, and there you go.
Even though VirtusPro haven't had like the best record recently, they're still such a strong team. And again, just watching that war, like their understanding of the game and the importance of taking the area, how they reacted to it, putting 3 towards B, then instantly rotating a 3rd player out again once they'd retaken control of connectors is really great to see, actually. It's really nice play by the CT side there. But again, you can understand, for those of you at home, if you're solo queuing or something, you can understand the value in harassing the B bomb site with these continuous smokes. It's such a pain for them. And look at the defense that VirtusPro are having to put in towards the B bomb site now because they don't have the information. Forced out from with the Molotov as well, and you can see Get Right peppering a little bit. Ironically, it's VirtusPro who used to do that with Snax standing outside, and he would spray the vents with an AK for anybody who was trying to exit after the Molotov. Got trades coming in for both sides now. The bomb's still in control of the T's, as is mid, which means that the B bomb site's going to have to be made weaker as TaZ goes towards mid to find out what the hell's going on and where to stack his men.
Yeah, so just having to spread people out. Only 3 men to use. So that's a very important 1v1 again from TaZ. Not going to pick it up though. Get Right's just going to stroll straight into the B bomb site. He discovers that it is clear all but 1 AWP, and in fact he actually pulled away TaZ from middle as well. So now it's byali against the world, and it's going to be the world that wins as we have the frag from Forest, the bomb going down now as well, and TaZ and Snax on the retake. It's going to be a tough one, but they do have good health still. And the incendiary from Snax is going to be so crucial. As soon as these smokes go down, he can throw it and then punish the player who is behind. In fact, he's just going to throw it and just hope the HE catches the player. It was indeed spot on. Snax just clearing every angle. There is time to do this. Another smoke there coming in from the CTs to try to obscure these angles from the T's. Oh, good catch there from Snax, but it's not going to find the mark. Finally switching around there for 2 frags. Snax going absolutely mental right now. 1 more player, but there's just no time to plant the bomb. Gets the final frag, but that's just going to be a consolation now, as the round is going to be given to NIP. And that was a hero 4K from Snax, just a little bit too slow. And NIP finally get around. I think, how many rounds did VirtusPro get in a row? Like, was it 6?
6 rounds in a row?
It was.
Yeah, and they are playing really well at the moment. I mean, but credit to Get Right as well. He gets seen at box in mid by TaZ. TaZ dinks him, and he runs straight into the vent and then just basically sacrifices himself for his team to suggest a quick B push. And it works. NIP get on the site and they take the round despite the efforts of the VirtusPro side, who are going quite aggressive towards B bomb site. If you have a sniper, you can hold B from T spawn jumping on the site. It's really irritates people as well, which makes it all the better.
I wonder if Get Right was trying to bait out some shots through the smoke there towards B storage to get some information for the team and maybe even shoot back at some tracer fire, but it's like we're going to... Oh no, the vent Molotov was missed. They're not going to expect that. Pasha, he knows he's in a great position here, but luckily Friberg does check the angle properly still.
I think he saw the Molotov was in the wrong place and then went for the pre-fire there. So lucky in that sense that he saw where it went. Otherwise, maybe he wouldn't have checked it. So you can see the limitations of the CT utility here. And they've got 3 people over towards the B-bomb site, very out of position. Neo's in position for a flank, but he's got a scout, so that's not very likely. There is Xizt, I think, lurking in mid as well. Byali coming in for a surprise, but he just gets stuck in the door. Otherwise, he probably gets a kill there. Now, the round should be, well, belong to the NIP side. Down goes Neo. So I don't know that there's much opportunity for the CTs to do anything now. Snax has an AK, which he'll definitely want to save, although he is moving towards the... Oh, it's the last round, of course. That would explain why. So, time is of the essence. TaZ has no kit and not much for him to do here, despite it being the last round, apart from trying to pad his stats somewhat.
I really liked the round from NIP because they, again, they know it's a bit of an awkward buy from VirtusPro, so they won't... It's unlikely they're going to be facing on mid as much because they're just going to straight up lose those battles. So by throwing like the Molotov into vent, and we saw that NIP took middle with a lot of players. They actually had a lot of. It wasn't just like a couple players and the Molotov. They fully took mid, and then once they did that, they forced, even if they don't get a frag, they force VirtusPro back to these positions where they don't really have any information. So they don't really know where NIP could split B, or they could go and push into A. They just don't know. And just that first little bit in that round is so cool to see because there are some teams that are missing those little details and they make such a big difference.
It's interesting that in the last round, TaZ was trying to play for exits in Squeaky there. Because if you die to the bomb, it doesn't go in your kill-death ratio, so they can stand there. They don't even need to run away at all. I'm just a massive nerd, Dan. It's insane. So it was a great start by NIP, but a good recovery by VirtusPro. But again, I think that both teams are playing well for different reasons. NIP are, they had nice executes onto both sites. VirtusPro are reacting well to them. They're countering well in the second half. We need the adjustments over towards A were really impressive. I don't know how. I think I might have to watch the demo actually because I don't know how TaZ got those kills when TaZ they started throwing the smokes into A, right? But they do it from outside of main. So they have to run back into main, which obviously takes a lot of time. So TaZ used that time to run to a car and then smoke off, because obviously most of the CTs know the perfect smoke to main from the car position as you're moving onto the site. So he managed to have the time to do that. Then they come out looking for Byali, and it's TaZ who uses him as bait and then reels them in with I don't know what.
Thing is though, with VirtusPro playing as well as they are, I actually feel like, I mean, VirtusPro, it is quite known that they're about the T sides. They have strong T sides, and NIP, their CT side is definitely weaker than their T side on this map. So I think NIP is in for a bit of a struggle if they don't pick up the pistol round. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this one develops. And already you can see pyth is just spotting there into A main, and we're going to see right now just very passive play, but finally get right with a bit of info as to what's going on. They don't really see anything there towards A. But there are players moving across middle right now, and there could be an A split on. So the information gets really interesting right now. Gerrit's going to suddenly find players in A main, and he probably didn't think that the bomb was going there. So now a bit of a shock here for both sides as Gerrit retreats into safety. He manages to get out of there, finds himself another one-on-one, goes for the taps in a favorable range for his weapon. This is looking quite decent right now for NIP. VirtusPro, though, they know that they have time. They're going to calm the situation down. They've got pasha, who's right up top of highway, and they can try to build around here, back into B, and pasha can catch those rotations potentially. Or will they just go up middle? It looks like they can do anything, Jace, but they will indeed go into B, I think.
Gerrit had tons of info. That was such an awkward position for VirtusPro, but they have indeed escaped it, and now pasha is on the push. I think the call's been made that there are footsteps from short, so Gerrit could have come back towards Squeaky as the push comes in towards the A, but the B-bomb site. But easy for f0rest and Friberg, the double Fs. No players lost for NIP. That's both pistol rounds where NIP didn't lose a single player. How often do you see that?
Yeah, and that's the. I like that we get to see the classic USP from f0rest, just the pops. And 9-7 indeed. So NIP getting a good start, and you can see that they favour the UMP again. We're seeing this much more because teams are much better at using utility these days, and it gives you much more in the way of edges, especially if you're afraid of the force buy. Or even if they get ooh,
boom,
took the words right out of my mouth, that one. But even if you get the bomb down as the T side, facing up against UMPs when you have the AKs on the third round is still difficult because they're going to have full resources. As long as they know how to use the utility correctly, it's not that much of a disadvantage, because if you have the AKs on third round, you're not going to have that much in the way of nades behind them.
So the defense comes in from Friberg towards the B-bomb site, but going back into the same channel one too many times. That will be the channel which pasha's Deagle is occupying. And the channel has now been closed for one player at least. Oh, ill-timed reload, and B hold will be strong, and the A hold will be a retake rather than a hold. Get Right's got a Molotov. There's a HE onto Xizt. Other than that, they've got two flashbangs, have the CT side. TaZ has been spotted. Definitely doesn't want to go down now. Here comes the bomb. It's going to be half his life gone. And the CT's coming in close while Xizt holds the angle. Rest of them going to go down pretty easily. 2 umps and a PAMAS. We'll see if there are any guns for the other CTs to recover while the bomb is defused. Does not seem so, other than pistols to be collected. So, a nice hold by NIP. VirtusPro have enough to buy the AKs and put the pressure on immediately. However, they won't have many nades for any execution. So we can see there's a smoke and a flash, and that is literally it.
Well, I mean, I'd say that last round was a complete disaster for NIP, considering that VirtusPro didn't have very much in the way of resources there. Yet they managed to get a bomb down and a lot of kills. NIP are going to be hurting here on the money. I mean, if VirtusPro win this round, NIP aren't going to really have anything to buy with. So that they're already on tender hooks right now. Oh, and the door push, James. Is it the Bardolph door push?
Well, it's not the pistol rounds.
Okay. I thought anything can be a Bardolph strat these days.
Well, going through a door isn't. I really hope that threat said, okay, let's do Bardolph, right? That would be sick. I think I deserve that, to be honest. The bomb, again, NIP getting quite lucky here. All the cherries coming on the slot machine as they choose the right time to get the info, and that's going to force VirtusPro to retreat and slow down. A bit paranoid as to what is going on in the mid now. They will boost up 2 gentlemen into that direction. There's a minute on the clock here, and again, they still have that smoke and a flash. Vents occupied by the CTs at present. Pyth alone. He can potentially escape here, and indeed he is just going to spot a player and make a run for it. So all the CTs not showing to short now as VirtusPro go for the split. Unbeknownst to them, there are 3 CTs waiting for them in the A site.
Yeah, that was a really smart run from Pyth. Oh, the flash and the UMP, the FAMAS, all the bullets going in there. Pyth with the second follow-up after Xizt, able to actually catch the 2 frags, and that is the bomb. And things look impossible now for NEO. Down to 1 point of health against Get Right. 25 seconds to play with as well. NEO needs to find the instant one shot, but he's now given away his position as well completely to Get Right. Get Right actually missing some shots there. He's had some opportunities here to get that one tap.
Oh, man.
And that is exactly what he needed to do.
Seriously, NEO.
But you have to say, Get Right definitely Get Right's definitely not been. He's been slow to warm up so far in this first map. I mean, if you looked at the first half as well, in the first half, it was a similar story. You know, missing a lot of these entry frags, making some rounds closer than they should have been. Generally speaking,
that was disgusting.
I mean, if you just look, but I mean, if you look at all their chances Get Right had, that just connect 1 bullet. You don't expect that from Get Right. But
yeah, if you know you only need 1 bullet though.
They can't see the health though.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. If he knew that he only needed 1, that he was 1 HP, then it probably would have been.
All right.
He probably would have had an easier time of it. That was absolutely insane. I don't know if it was last bullet, but he just one tapped him at the end. They talk about my 1 taps.
They talk about my 1 tap.
Well, they talk about NEO's 1 taps. So NIP back on the buy, but it is a force buy. 3 rifles on the 5 players. Very unfortunate to win that round. And down goes the first one. Forest gets taken down by NEO towards B app. Snax has been heavily tagged. I think he was in the vent as well. Other than that, man advantage for VirtusPro. They'll take that. Got a lurker towards B, which is pasha. Rest of the team seems to be posturing towards A. Xizt has gone down, which means one of the rifles has been taken out. That won't be retrieved by any CTs for a long time. Get Right's got to go nuclear here because it is a 4 versus 1 essentially. Traded, and the round will go to VirtusPro.
Yeah, you can see Get Right's stylistic choice there, where he kills the first player with the spray, and he knows that there's more players behind him, so he continues to spray and opens up the angle into the next players, which is actually very smart in many ways. but obviously this time it didn't work out for him, and he's definitely not having the best game at the moment. But that said, VirtusPro, they are playing quite well. Obviously, pasha on 6 frags is always a bit of a worry. So, you know, almost your two star players, essentially, in some senses. It's hard to say star player with VirtusPro anyway, but you know, pasha is supposed to be that guy that's so explosive. You know, when he has a good game, it's ridiculous. But right now, he's on 6 frags, James. He's definitely not having a good game for him at least.
Well, VirtusPro starting to catch up. They've wiped out all the remaining NIP players who will be on the eco, so there's a good opportunity actually for VirtusPro to take the lead in the first map of this best of 3. Again, if you are just joining us, it's VirtusPro versus NIP, our 1 European match of the day. Cash, Mirage and Train will be your 3 maps. NIP were off to a very good start in the first half, and then VirtusPro caught all the way back. And now from a great individual performance by Neo with a 1-tap on to get right with 1 HP, they're in good stead to take the lead in the series.
That's one of the best things about this matchup, is that both the teams are so well suited to each other's maps that you know, in theory, you should get great games. Right now, NIP does have a much better record online and better form in general, but right now, VirtusPro is playing very decently, and NIP are having quite a lot of struggles. Whoa, okay, I thought that was the Mac 10 for a second there, but it was indeed. pasha's AK. pasha picking up some frags here. It's those sweet eco frags. Just gonna feel nice, and just Forest left now to try to maybe do some damage here, catch somebody off. Obviously, he's not carrying anything right now, so he might as well try to find a way onto a kill. So he's looking at one of those exits, but life will be hard. So this will be VirtusPro going 10 to 10. We're going to see the money of NIP now and see what options they're going to have. It's not fantastic at the moment. They still don't have a that max buy bonus, so money is not perfect. No AWP. And the Mac 10 is still going to be on pasha. Potentially, is he going to buy up an AWP or something, or is he going to? Okay, he will get an AK-47.
pasha has a good spawn to. He had a good spawn to just run straight into mid. It is risky though, and would be preferable to have an AWP, in which he could just hold an angle. Friberg lucky to only take 15 points of damage. Yeah, with pasha spawn, you could peek mid and see if there was a CT crossing to short, in which if there was, then you could take him down. Speaking of taking down, the trade will come in for pyth, so that is a 3-4-1 exchange in favour of the CTs. That, I would normally say, should be round over, but we've seen some exemplary performances from VirtusPro players already in this match, so perhaps they will be in a position to take this round just yet. We will see. They do have this superior weaponry in the AKs. And the positions over towards A have become somewhat passive. Get right, just playing a trickier angle, one of the less found ones. As the T's would probably look towards the car, which will be just to his left there. It's a nice flash. And he can make the call for his teammates to come and rotate in. Level 1 versus 1 there, which he will win. The bomb goes down, leaving TaZ alone versus 4. Now again, he's got a good opportunity to bring this to a 2 versus 1, because Get Right so heavily tagged. Goes for the spray down onto pyth on short. Not going to make it though. So VirtusPro will lose a round. I think they had a fair chunk in the bank. Indeed, they do. So they'll spend those chunks. NIP, an expensive round for them, will probably have a worse buy in this round.
The thing is, that was quite cool for NIP last round. They had a good option because their utility was very, very, very low. They played 3 aggressive in mid. A lot of teams, top level teams, are good at dealing with aggression on B storage and A main. So the best option if you can't get aggressive there is just to take mid and be very active in middle. And that really was very positive trade-wise for NIP. But they have to hold on to their economy now. They lost a lot of players at the end there. So it's a pretty close scoreline as well, 11-10. We're getting quite far into the second half, into the last third of the map. And once again, we do get a little bit of poking here from NIP, trying to figure out what's going on. They will spot one player, but of course, in a lot of default rounds, you're going to see a player over there, over towards Squeaky. So it's really nice that VirtusPro showed a player there, but TaZ didn't lose his life, because NIP might not expect that the B play that could potentially be on here. They might not expect the kind of presence they might see. But that said, VirtusPro is still hanging around here, still taking a lot of time going back onto the boost in mid. I think pyth is only interested really in information at this point in time. And that's it. Neo's going to get the frag there onto Forest. The map is being opened up. Now, how will it be used right now for the VirtusPro side? How do they decide to interpret this? Well, they're actually going to boost straight out of checkers to try to catch mid-rotation. This is something that NIP did a lot at the Malmo Masters tournament as well. It's a 5 versus 3. So this is going to be really hard to hold here for Xizt on the bomb site.
Yeah, NIP looks to get reset here, which would be a complete disaster for them. So Xizt trying to slow down the forces as much as possible. Shoulder peak won't be fast enough, and Snax will take him down, as he will take down Get Right as well. So Friberg in a 1 versus 3, too far away from the site to do anything too exciting. So he will just try to hold on to what little he has. 3 VirtusPro players available, alive as well. But I mean, VP are going to tie things up, but again, resetting the economy of NIP. Look how awful that is. VirtusPro could take game 1 here.
That was a perfect round from VirtusPro, the way that they played that. I mean, they played it very safe early on. They didn't catch a frag on Squeaky, but they just showed the presence there, and the CTs had to go back. Then Neo got that open onto the checkers area. And then what that does is then allows them to take checkers, because the other player that's playing B can't really challenge. If he does and risks it and he dies, the round is over as well. So he has to hold in B, and they know that. So they push checkers, they take it away. A lot of presence and threat towards the B play. So then rotation happens for NIP. So then they boost out of the vents into middle to catch rotation and then split onto A, where there's now only 1 player because of the rotation. I mean, what a perfect round from VirtusPro, understanding how to get the picks, how to punish rotation like that. I don't think there's anything NIP could do there. And now, talking about them not being able to do anything, they have 2 HEs and 5 USPs. This is as close to a full save as you see.
So in these rounds with 2, 3, 4 HEs, I'm really curious as to what the intended plan is. Obviously, depending on the map, they can be varied. You can often see cluster bombs going down. Well, you could see them going down Inferno mid.
I think it's because they chose to stack, actually, because the $300 there could either be that or a P250. I think it's because they've stacked, and maybe they see more value in the HE. Like, there's the peak, now HEs can come in.
My question isn't the why, it's just the how they will be implemented, but I've got my answer on this occasion. Because there's just so many potential ways you could use them. I'm curious the ways they will. It's hard to, in a lot of maps, it's hard to see in advance how exactly they will use them. I think over towards A, yeah, once you start getting contact in main, then it's a bit more obvious.
Yeah, because you have the stack, you can sacrifice somebody for information just as they did, which is quite cool, actually.
Well, NIP back on some semblance of a buy. pyth, Forest, and Get Right opted for helmets as well. Which is money that could be spent elsewhere, perhaps. As the push comes in, VirtusPro looking for a fast round maybe to try and break the CTs again. They've got a man advantage at the moment. The remaining NIP players are out of the site on the wrong end of all the choke points. So I'd be surprised if NIP continue to push here, unless they got a kill somehow in the positions that they are currently holding. You can see Xizt moving over, and I think they are positioning for what will ultimately be a save here. I think they're just holding formation close in case of any early aggression, in case VirtusPro start the hunt early, essentially, to try and take the guns out of the hands of these players.
I think it also, I think it's also a nice idea from another perspective. I don't know about this, but one potential effect is that if they make contact with one of the guys, CTs who's saving but who is forward, that slows down the players who are hunting from finding the rest of his teammates. Instead of, because you know, that's the dilemma, isn't it? If you all just run, let's say, to Squeaky, then the T's will basically all just be able to charge you down, and that can go well and it can go badly. So I don't know really what is the better option, but those are just the effects, I suppose. Okay, so 13-11 and NIP definitely having a tough time with VirtusPro here today, and it's great to see VirtusPro doing well. and they have a lot of utility in this round, but NIP rolling in with a little bit more utility, but the weaponry is just a bit awful. 2 UMPs. Ooh, great damage going in there though. Pasha down to 3 HP. The HE might finish him off. He does back away though, able to survive the HE. But what is Pasha going to do in this round with 3 HP? It's a bit annoying. He does have a lot of nades though, so that's actually kind of a crucial aspect of him actually surviving, keeping hold of those nades. And the lack of AWP being afforded by NIP on their CT side, I think has hurt them quite a lot.
I do wonder if VirtusPro will change their ultimate decision here based on Pasha having 3 HP, because in the sense of how do you use him effectively, he can just stand where he is now and hold a rotation as GetRight was doing in the previous T round for NIP, while VirtusPro attack the other side. Otherwise, he will be used in many other situations where he's probably going to die. So it seems that VirtusPro's intentions might be dictated by Pasha's current situation. As the rest of the team start to move towards the A side, you can see Pasha slowly rotating around towards mid. So he'll still be holding the flanks essentially, but now he is making sure that there are no gaps in that defense.
It's GetRight looking for that sweet redemption there. 1 frag, a lot of damage onto Neo. Again, we can't forget Pasha's on 3 HP. Lots of damage on the spray there. pyth and Xizt able to pick up 2 more kills, leaving just TaZ and Pasha. Oh, TaZ's entry though, very savage indeed. And that's going to leave f0rest and Friberg on the retake with UMPs. That's not the best thing in the world, but again, Pasha still on that 3 HP right now. f0rest looking for the first player. Flash goes in, TaZ with the peek. Second follow-up coming in from f0rest finally. NIP have one of the frags back, but there is that final one to get. Can f0rest do what GetRight couldn't previously? And there is the engagement, and he will find that kill. Just able to get the bullets on in time, and it's a 1 round. But the cost was heavy. They lost everybody, and their economy sucks. But at least they found an ult for f0rest.
Yeah, so there's light at the end of the tunnel, for now at least, for NIP. VirtusPro will keep the pressure up all the way up. Well, he's still at 6k in the bank after his full buy. So it is going to be quite the test for NIP going forward into the late rounds of this first map. Again, the next map will be Mirage, and a decider, should it be required, will be Train. Double ops, in fact, coming out for the CT side. pyth picking up the second one. NIP currently holding only 1 person over towards the B bomb site, although GetRight has been lost, as have 2 of the T players. So you can see mid being held at the moment for the CT side, while VirtusPro are behind the boost, and Xizt will be forced from his position and taken down. So we're down to a 3 versus 3 here.
So again, you know, VirtusPro showed they're very good at handling spots like this, and pyth and f0rest on an AWP each. I actually think that's a really good way to try to be able to defend in this kind of position. And this aggressive spot from pyth, I think, would be very unexpected. But VirtusPro just sitting on this this advantage for the time being. Snax a little bit. It's had too much sugar perhaps today. A little bit jittery there. But finally, VirtusPro starting to make a move to see if they can get some info on the map. But NIP just holding tight to these AWP angles. Again, pyth's position is deadly there in A main. So VirtusPro are lucky that they're going to be avoiding pyth and instead going into f0rest. Actually, I don't know what's worse.
He smoked off short to suggest an A play, perhaps. So moving towards the bomb site, but Friberg will hear all the legs here. It's got to be really hard for him to check his actual angle. There we go, 1 player spotted. Thanks for the information game. While his teammate runs distraction, f0rest will go down and Friberg will trade. Snax knows where he is. So close, but can't find a connection just yet. Friberg only had to hit 2 bullets, didn't manage to do it, down to 1 versus 1 now. pyth rotating from T-spawn. Snax has basically 4 places to look. It's not going to be easy for him. Only 16 HP, AWP versus AWP.
And HE. But do you throw the HE in this situation? That's the question.
Well, he has, somehow.
Okay, there you
I was going to say, he cannot possibly face, but
didn't want damage, James.
I think he dropped a flashbang and then did it. So anyway, he's on the pistol now. He has not got a kit, and Snax will take him down, win the round for his team. So NIP are going to get reset. And VirtusPro are 2 rounds away from taking the first map. So this is a very difficult position indeed for the CT side.
Yep, and they've decided to go for a tactical pause to try to assess the situation, see what they can do here. Do they allow VirtusPro to get to 15 rounds and then play for overtime, or do they force up? Do they force up twice? Those are the two options. But then, of course, based on which option, they're going to try to discuss. Okay, which let's look at both of these options, and then what should we actually do in each individual case. So if they do save and try to play for overtime, how many rounds have they lost in a row? Do you know that? Do you know
one? They won the previous one.
Okay, right. So yeah, so their money is really appalling right now. And even if they do a full save, I still don't think that they have much money. So there might actually be a strong argument in this case for two force buys over 1 week buy with lacking utility.
I mean, they're in such a bad position at the moment that I wouldn't. I wouldn't know what to do.
I think they're going to do double force buy actually. But the thing is, then how do they play those force buys?
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, like against really good teams, they expect early round aggression. This is one of the reasons why you wouldn't see a team like Envious back when they were super good at force buying. Why they wouldn't really stack sites. They would just kind of play normal because as long as they can get a 1 versus 1, they know that there is a maybe they're not favored, but they know they can win that 1 versus 1. And then once they win that first 1 versus 1, then things start to get worse and worse, start to snowball in their favor. So,
I mean, I do think you have to force in this situation, but I don't know what you do with the force. That's the problem. So when I say I don't know what you do, I don't know. I mean, like, how do you play a situation this bad versus TaZ with AKs and AWP and full Molotovs, etc.?
I think you just treat it as in the situation because you're playing against VirtusPro and you can expect them to be disciplined early in the round to catch aggression. So if you wipe out aggression from the solution, I think playing as they did when they were low eco, when they had rifles and almost no nades, like 3 aggressive in mid, as it's just the kind of aggressive mid setup you could see on any normal buy round. I think that can work, but also they can go for like kind of mini aggressions. So just like not committing too heavily to it and maybe try to get lucky there. But it's really hard. It's really, really impossible. There's no right answer because it depends what VirtusPro do, and that's. They can do like 3 or 4 different setups. You don't know what's going to be the perfect round against that.
But it's a really open map as well, and obviously the places where you can hide are all susceptible to Molotovs.
Yeah, that's true.
So there isn't really anywhere where you're not going to get forced out of your position into the open, the cold open world, Dan.
Yep.
And then mauled by there.
And they will indeed go for the force buy, which I definitely think that's the best choice, and looks like they do as well. But we're going to find the answer to the question now. How are they going to play this? Are they going to go for some light aggression here in towards A? It looks like that is the case. Pop flash, simple pop flash should get right. But again, it should be very expected. And indeed, the expectation was there. The frags are there for the VirtusPro side. And they will pick up 2 kills for the cost of 1 life. So 3 players left for NIP. And all VirtusPro have to do is regroup and then push together as 1 unit. And they should be completely fine here. So let's have a look and see if the defense can be possible here for NIP. Now,
I feel like the round's over already.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a heavy advantage right now for VP. And there you go. You might be able to pick up that AK-47, but Boris knows there's a guy behind him. He can't quite get the bullets out in time, but it was a distraction in time. It was for Friberg to capitalize, but Friberg barely can't get into position in time. But Xizt able to pick up the AK that was left on the floor in A main. In a 1 versus 2 now. He has no kit, but he's got a Molotov and a flash. So he's going to try to flash through here, through this smoke, into the bomb site. This is definitely doable right now for Xizt. He finds the shot, but the problem is there's 2 players on his angle at once. And it was a good effort in that round by NIP. I mean, they got Xizt into a 1 versus 2 where he had armor and AK and some nades. So that's a very winnable position.
So you could see, I think it was Byali who was facing B backwards, waiting for his... I think it was either waiting for his teammate to flash him in, or he was just facing back while his teammate held the angle, but had poor spacing. So in case his teammate got a flash, a good 180. Either way, didn't work out. So yeah, nipped close, but not close enough. And there are no more opportunities to not get close enough as VirtusPro are on game point. 3 rounds ahead, 3 CTs over towards B, 2 pushing a squeaky, which I'm pretty sure Byali heard. Although the bomb is at the beginning of A main with no cover. towards Squeaky other than the cover it's providing itself, and that's Snax on the boost position.
He actually got naded straight in the face there on the boost, but only did 11 damage. That seems pretty weird. Ooh, that's CZ though. That's CZ though.
So now will this speed up VirtusPro? Again, the bomb is still really by itself, and Nip have moved back onto the site, so there'll be no push there for the time being. Friberg is alone over towards the bomb site, and he's got 3 Ts looking to breach. There is a rotation, Get Right trying to get there sooner rather than later. That's a nice flash, allows him to face for a little while, and he'll try and waste time now while his team come in. Right, down he goes. Got CT's looking to push the smoke, it seems. Get Right coming in. That's a perfectly timed flash. Xizt will get a frag. Get Right goes down. Xizt will make a nuisance of himself, and now it's down to 1 versus 2, which is finished off by Snax. So the first map goes the way of VirtusPro. Didn't look very likely at the beginning. Again, NIP off to a rip-roaring start, but VirtusPro adjusted, closed the gap till there was no gap in the second half. Sorry, in the first half, and then here we are now.
Absolutely, and I think you could really see that VirtusPro individually, they look pretty. I wouldn't say that we saw a crazy standout performance from a single player, but everyone across the board, except maybe pasha, was having like a decent game where they were hitting the shots they were supposed to hit within the strategies, and we had some really, really great mid-round calls where, you know, VirtusPro, once they got into that T side, you can see why they're so dangerous there. They really know how to play the advantages. They know how to play disciplined as well. And really, it was all about NIP not getting the T rounds that they needed, because they did get 8 T rounds, but the problem is that they need to get more, obviously, against VirtusPro, because their CT side itself is a little bit weak. And you can see that playing low economy, as they had to do many times, was just very awkward. And now we can see some highlights from the match as well, some of the standout moments from that one. And anything in particular that struck you?
I just really enjoyed the strategy we saw from NIP, obviously being the aggressors in the first half. The adjustments we saw from VirtusPro, the understanding of importance, as they should, but you know, it's something we can communicate to people at home as well in how the B area was taken.
That 3K from Bieli actually was one of the pivotal moments, I think.
Yeah.
Because that was around NIP should have won. But
never mind the one tap from NEO coming up as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, you're right.
That was huge.
That was really huge. Yeah. There were some moments where, you know, we saw Get Right into these sort of clutch positions where he wasn't able to make the frags. There was also a moment on their first anti-force buy where he had a Galil and he got 2 1v1s, but he just couldn't connect the shots. They ended up getting taken down, and he had to get a teammate to trade into these players, and they ended up losing, you know, 2 or 3 players instead of usually, as they would, surviving with around 4, which could have been an extra buy round. It could have been, you know, meant more nades in some of these future rounds. And that tends to be one of the advantages we've seen that NIP have as a team going forwards in these tournaments, is that the way that they play is disciplined to the point where they try to save as much money as possible. And we can see in this game, VirtusPro really good at denying that.
Well, the second map is going to be Mourujärvi, which will be coming up shortly. So we'll go to a quick break while the players set up, and we'll be back here with the second map in this best of 3. See you soon.